All right, today your notes are Chapter 12, Section 1. That should be your heading at the top. Chapter 12, Section 1, and this is all about Congress and action, so what Congress actually does. Remember, Congress is the two houses, the Senate, or the two chambers, the House and the Senate combined together are called Congress. Here are some objectives for Chapter 12, Section 1. Here are some key terms with their definitions about the leaders and the people who make up the Congress. Here's our introduction, which was what was discussed in the focus question for today. All right, so your first heading is going to be Opening Day in Congress. Congress begins a new term every 2 years. And it's always on January 3rd, and it's odd years. We vote for presidential elections in even years, and Congress elections are held in odd years. In the House, so in the House of Representatives, the members of the House elect a speaker who takes the oath of office and swears in all the other members of the House. The House then elects various officers, such as the clerk. They then adopt the rules for the current term. So that's opening day, the first day of what happens in the House, in Congress. These rules have developed for over 200 years and are occasionally amended or expanded, but they have the same principles for over 200 years. So no new heading. Opening day continued. So after they adopt the oaths or the rules and those things, the House appoints the members of the 20 permanent committees. So there's 20 permanent committees in the House, and the House appoints the members of these permanent committees. They're appointed by the actual members of the House. Only a third of the Senate is elected every 2 years. So we'll just say I don't know why it wrote over there. I'm having technical difficulties. I apologize. Okay, so what we're going to write is in the Senate, newly elected members are simply sworn in. And the vacancies for officers and it says and committees are filled. All right, so your next heading is the State of the Union. So the State of the Union is delivered by the President. So the President delivers the State of the Union address to a joint session of Congress. So that means a joint session equals both House and Senate members. So the president gives the State of the Union address to the joint session of Congress a few weeks after it's organized. So that happens a couple weeks later. So the next part is about what is said to Congress in that State of the Union address. So usually the president describes the general state of national affairs. The president describes the planned policies of his or her administration to Congress and to the nation, because the president doesn't just deliver it to Congress. There are always TV cameras there, and a lot of people will also watch the State of the Union address. So the president is talking to Congress, but the president's aware that lots of people are watching it on TV, so he or she knows that they're also addressing the nation as well as Congress. So they describe the policies of his or her administration to the Congress and to the nation. And then the president will also request that Congress pass specific pieces of their legislation that they have planned for their presidential administration. All right, so next is kind of the roles that are in Congress. So one of the biggest roles in Congress is the Speaker of the House. That's your next heading. So the Speaker of the House is the presiding officer of the House and the leader of its majority party. So the Speaker of the House has to be the leader of the majority of the House of Representatives. So if the House of Representatives, the majority members are Republican that were elected, then the Speaker of House is a Republican. And then the same way for Democrats. If Democrats are the majority of the House, then the Speaker of the House is Democrat. And they are considered the highest officer in the House, the highest person, the person with the most power in the House of Representatives. So regardless of how you feel about the current Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, back when she was first given the Speaker of the House role, so Democrat Nancy Pelosi, this is her a long time ago. This PowerPoint's from 2013 or 14. She was, regardless of how you feel about her in politics, the important thing about her is that she was the first woman to ever serve as Speaker of the House. So she made history in that aspect, that she's the first woman to ever be the Speaker of the House. And she's currently the Speaker of the House, so no other woman has held that role yet. So no new heading, Speaker of the House continues. So this is about the job that the Speaker of the House does. What's their role? What do they do? So the Speaker, the main job is that they preside over the House of Representatives and they keep order in the House of Representatives. The Speaker chairs most sessions of the House, meaning that they sit in a specific chair kind of in the front at the top. And they preside over House sessions and House meetings that are happening. And no member can speak on the floor unless recognized by the Speaker, meaning that the Speaker gives them permission to speak on the House floor. Another thing the Speaker does is we don't really have to write the Speaker again. We'll just write that they interpret and apply the rules and procedures. They refer bills to the different committees, and they put motions. So if someone wants a motion to, happen to make a law or a motion to vote on a certain bill, the Speaker of the House has to give permission and put that motion to a vote. Only the Speaker can allow something to be voted on in the House. The other job the Speaker does is that they name the members of all select and conference committees. So the Speaker is the person who names them and appoints them to the different select committees and conference committees. All right, so that was the House of Representatives. So now we're going to move on to the Senate, the other chamber of Congress. So our next heading is President of the Senate. So who is the President of the Senate? Well, the Constitution names that the Vice President, whoever the Vice President is at the time, is the Senate's presiding officer. They are the President of the Senate, the Vice President. They're the highest ranking official in the Senate is the Vice President. So as the President of the Senate, they recognize the members. They put questions to a vote. But what they cannot do is take part in debates and votes. They vote only to break a tie. So the Vice President cannot get involved in voting in the Senate unless it is to break a tie. That is the only way that the Vice President is allowed to vote in the Senate. So if for some reason the Vice President is absent, then there is the President pro tempore, which is temporary. It's Latin. It means temporary. And it's a member. The definition of that is a member of the Senate's majority party. So whichever party, Republican or Democrat, has the majority of the Senate, the people voted in, one of those people are appointed or elected to serve as the Senate leader in the Vice President's absence. That's very rare. Most of the time, the Vice President is always available. Now, a long time ago, thinking about when the Constitution was written, the Vice President could have been, across the country, and it would have taken, several days for them to get there for a vote or for something that needed to happen. So really this job is not, it's still there. They're still elected just in case the Vice President cannot be there, but it's not really used like it was a long time ago because we can travel very quickly now. So now we're going to talk a little bit about how party politics, the different parties, play a role in Congress. So the first one's about the House. So our next heading is Party Politics in Congress. So Congress is strongly partisan. And what that means is that it is strongly divided based on party, meaning which party you belong to. To prove that or to show how it is very partisan is it's meant to be organized along party lines. Key positions and committees are controlled by the majority party in each House of Congress. So whoever controls Congress or whoever controls the House or whoever controls the Senate, obviously they have more power. Their entire party, whether it be Democrat or Republican, has more power than the other party because they are given these key positions and control so many committees and day-to-day operations of Congress. All right, your next heading is Party Caucus. And we talked about caucuses in Chapter 7 that we just finished. But a party caucus is a closed meeting of the members of each party in each house. So the Democrats and the Republicans in the House meet separately and have closed meetings together, And the same thing happens in the Senate. They don't meet together, they meet separately with their parties.